What's up, everybody? Hope you're having an amazing day today. I am Peter Cole. Today we are going to jump into the top 10 Nintendo Switch eShop games that I think more people need to play and that are worth your time and money. So let's jump into it. So the first game I want to talk about is actually kind of two games, which is the Mega Man Legacy Collection Volume 1 and Volume 2. If you buy it physical, you can get a cartridge that has the first game on it and then the first collection, Volume 1, whatever. And then you have to download the digital second version, or you can buy them separate on the eShop. I wanted to put them both in there because I feel like they're the same and they've always been together in one, so I'm just gonna put them together for this. Volume 1 is $15, Volume 2 is $20, and that's on the eShop. I'm not entirely sure about physical price. I'm assuming it's somewhere near 35, 30 maybe, I don't know, something like that. But anyway, if you like Mega Man, you should definitely get these games. Every Mega Man fan should have the Legacy Collection. It is such an amazing way to play these games. They're faithful recreations. I really enjoyed playing through both of them. I'm really excited for the X Collection to come too. Just gonna throw that in there, even though it's not anything to do with this game at all. So Volume 1 contains 1 through 6, and Volume 2 contains 7 through 10. Most of them are amazing games, especially the earlier ones. And like I said, I just think anyone who likes Mega Man should pick those. If you haven't played Mega Man, I'd recommend picking up the Legacy Collection Volume 1 first, just trying it out, because I think Mega Man 2 and 3 are some of the best in the series, if not the best in the series. So they're definitely worth playing. Just look at them. And if you haven't played Mega Man, I almost feel like you need to play Mega Man just to be able to have the concept and understanding of such an iconic part of the gaming industry. So yeah, Mega Man. So it speaks for itself, right? The next game I want to highlight is Little Nightmares, and the reason for this is I don't think there's enough cool horror games on the Nintendo Switch, and Little Nightmares is an amazing one. Really unique, a really different game style. As you can see from the gameplay here, this is the complete edition, so I believe it comes with 2 like DLC stories. I'm not so sure. I never played the DLCs, to be honest with you, so I'm just rating the game off the regular game, which was amazing. So the fact that there's extra to it, I think it's worth it. It's $29.99 currently on the eShop. If you like horror games, if you like thrill, if you like tension, I think this game is great. As you can kind of see it here, it has like a 2.5D side-scrolling gameplay style. I know that's probably not how you describe it, but I'm not good with that game lingo, so I'm just gonna be honest. But the game's a lot of fun. The enemies and stuff in here are really, really weird and freaky, and the whole time I was playing it, I was kind of in awe. I was like, this is such a weird idea for a game, and the way it plays out is super interesting. A lot of the puzzles that you have to figure out and the way the sounds work in the game. As with many horror games, it's kind of hard without giving away specific scenes and things like that to explain the style of the game. So I'm gonna say, if you like horror and you can look at this gameplay and you can think this looks even a little bit interesting to you, I'd recommend picking this up. I think it's fun to play again and again just because the freaky stuff that happens and like you mess up and you get scared, and I don't know, I just think it's really good. So if you like horror games and you've liked games like Outlast and stuff on the Switch, Little Nightmares is a quality game. All these freaking games like Don't Knock Twice coming out making a bad name for horror games on the Switch. Little Nightmares, not one of those. The next game I want to highlight is one I love, and that's Battle Chasers Night War. There's so many things about this game that are really cool. The fact that it's based off a comic book series and the graphics and the art style totally encapsulate that. The story's really interesting. It defines itself as being a combination of all of the genre greats for RPGs. There is dungeon diving. Think of things like Torchlight. I don't know if any of you guys played that game. That might be too weird of a reference. I don't know why I referenced that. There's traditional JRPG turn-based combat, which is a lot of fun, and there's a lot to explore, a lot of secrets to find. And if you like this style of game at all, if you like turn-based RPGs, if you like dungeon diving and exploring these more semi-linear levels, but also having exploration around them, this is the kind of game that you'll want to play. It is $40, and I feel like it's worth that $40. This is one of those in-between experiences where it's not a full $60 fledged out, awesome, amazing, like this is a huge, gigantic game, but for $40, it's 100% worth it. If you like this style and you've been looking for a game that has good turn-based combat, good exploration, a fun story, and just look at these graphics, guys, look at these graphics, then this game is for you. I'd really recommend Battle Chasers Night War. This next game, though, is super different than the ones we've been talking about, and that is 3/4 Home Extended Edition. It's $9. This game is a game where the entire thing takes place as you are driving home and you are on the phone with your family. It's one of those games like a Gone Home or a Firewatch or things like that where explaining it doesn't really give it the effect of playing it. What's so special about it is the natural human reactions. You do make choices, and those choices affect what your family says and the things that happen. And it is so fascinating and so real feeling. Like, I feel like I can jump into the shoes of this character who's driving home and listening to her family and the things that they talk about and how they react and learning about her life. You can play it multiple times, learn all these differences, and it's super short. You can beat it really quickly. So it's one of those games where you'll play it and it will stick with you. And when I saw it was coming to Switch, I played it back on PC quite a while ago. I actually really long time ago on this channel, really early on, I did these game highlights, and 3/4 Home was actually a game I did a game highlight on. I can link that video if you guys want to watch it and go look at that. That was really early on me, so it's gonna be kind of cringy, but yeah, it's there. Anyway, I've always really loved this game. I'd rather not say much more about it. I think you guys should just play it if you're at all interested in a game that is very story driven. There isn't a lot of gameplay. It's almost kind of like an interactive movie. I hate that the term interactive movie is bad though, because in games, I think an interactive movie is an awesome thing. So for me, I'm like, that's so cool. I love that it's an interactive movie. But for you, if you really need gameplay, this won't be for you. But if you want a touching, compelling story that makes you want to play again, makes you want to learn more about the character and leaves an impression on you, 3/4 Home is that game. And it's only $9. Now you may have heard of this next game if you watch PewDiePie, and if you don't, you probably have not. The reason why I said PewDiePie is because PewDiePie helped work on it. He was a consultant, I think, on the game. I'm not exactly sure how much he played into it, but you can tell that his dorky, over-the-top sense of humor is in this game. It's a lot of fun. The game that I compared it to is Trials, Trials HD, Trials Evolution. It has a very similar style, except it's much more about destruction, being obnoxious, and you can have different types of cards, different types of pilots, all these different dorky animals. The game has a ton of wacky character, and one of the coolest parts about it is it's so big on creation of levels. It is a game that it does have like regular campaign-like levels, but the main aspect of the game is from gamer-created levels. And I think that's a really good thing because this game has so many different customizable opportunities that when you see some of these insane, crazy levels, it's just a lot of fun. It's one of those games where the mechanics are really fun to play. It can be difficult, it can be dorky, it can be hilarious, it can just be fun. And on top of that, there's almost unlimited customizability for people to play with. So if you like games like the feeling of Trials, or like, you know, you have to lean back and forth and you have to do jumps and you have to time things and stuff like that, but you also like Mario Maker style games where it's just unlimited different types of levels, this game's for you. This is a game where you can just pop it in and play 3 or 4 levels when you're just wanting to do something for a little bit, and then you can pop back out and you have a lot of fun. So I really appreciate games like this. Where's Mario Maker, Nintendo? Why do we not see it on Switch? Mario Maker 2. Can we make a Zelda Maker? Anything, please, just release something. But in lieu of that, Animal Super Squad is here. I can't remember if it's $15 or $20 because I bought it already, so... Now this is the most expensive game on the list. It's also the biggest third-party game on the list. And I'm so excited that this game came to Switch because it is such an amazing game. And that is South Park: The Fractured Butthole. And I just need to highlight this game. If you like South Park at all, you owe it to yourself to play this game. And if you never played The Stick of Truth, to play that game as well. These games are incredibly well crafted. You can tell so much time and so much effort went into them. The game is amazing. It is like a strategy / turn-based RPG. You can see from the gameplay here. I'm sure I'll throw in some combat gameplay just to show you guys. I really, the characters, the story, the lines, the world, it feels like you're living in South Park for a while. And if you like South Park, like I said, if you like that kind of comedy, if you like those RPG style mechanics, you would 100% need to play this game. It's so worth it, and anyone that likes the game should play it. And another thing about it is I like to support these types of games because unlike a lot of the licensed games we get that are really crappy, games like this, if you support it, really show that like, hey, we want a well done, deep RPG South Park game. Where are other games? Why do we not have a Harry Potter RPG game? Or just in that world? Why? Because games like this come out and they usually don't succeed, or they suck, and so no one buys them. These games, I think, are, in the long run, we're going to look back at these South Park games and be like, these were the beginning of an era of companies taking these franchises and making games we never thought we could have had out of them. So support South Park. If you like South Park, get this game. Now, a game that's been out on everything, basically, and it's been out for a long time, that I think more people need to play, is Don't Starve. And we have the complete edition on Nintendo Switch, so you have the Reign of Giants expansion, and one other expansion, I can't remember. But this game is really cool. It's kind of like a roguelike, but it's exploration. Like, you've got to go chop down trees to make fires. It's Don't Starve. So you're just basically, you're in somewhere. You're just on land. and you have to go get your food, you have to make materials, you have to survive with shelter, fire, food, water, all that kind of stuff, sleep, everything. And so it's really fun in that kind of aspect. The graphics are super unique and interesting, and the game mechanics of the expansions really do change a lot. There's new places, new areas to go, climates, new seasons, and it does go seasonally, so there's winter, spring, fall, summer. There's a lot of really cool mechanics, and I think this game came out, and a lot of people played it when it first came out, but on Switch it's perfect to just jump into, to go do a little bit of stuff, build up your camp a little bit, build up your materials, and then just jump back out and then come back later. This is great for younger people that need a little bit more challenge. It's great for adults that also like challenge, because I failed at it lots of times, and I've died because of giant monsters come and just destroyed everything, and I built up the stuff, and then I'm got nothing, and it sucks. But it is such a fun game, and it's 20 bucks on the eShop, I believe. I think it's worth it. It'll be many, many hours of content if you like this style of game. So yeah, if you look at this and you think this is even remotely interesting, you'll get a lot of hours out of it, so I'd recommend picking it up. Now, Dungeon Rushers isn't a game I thought I was going to talk about. I played it for a while. I was like, this is kind of funny, kind of dorky. I don't really know if this is one I'm going to talk about. I don't know if the quality's up to par. But then I just kept playing it, and I kept grinding, and I kept finding myself doing more and more, and I was like, why? Why am I doing this? Why am I continuing to play this game? Why do I like this game so much? And I just continue to play it and play it and play it. And all of a sudden I'm like, I really enjoy this game. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's a game, maybe this is just a blind side of me for the games that I played in my past, but I've never seen a game like this where you're just a circle, and to explore a dungeon you're just pressing left or right and going into these different sections, and then things pop up and then you battle. It's turn-based battling. It's very strategic, where you can place people in different areas, and based on where they are, they can attack first or second, they get hit first or second. There's all different types of gear for all different types of stats. The characters and the writing are absolutely ridiculous, like just so over the top. Every character is so characterized, I don't know how else to say it. They all have such intense personalities, they're all so different and so contrasting, and there's so many dorky jokes. There's tons of references to video games. There was a point in a dungeon where like 3 times in a row a person said a Zelda reference from different Zelda games, and I was just like, this is amazing. This is so funny. So yeah, I really think if you like this, if you look at this and you think this game seems like it could be my style, as weird as it is, I'd kind of recommend picking it up. I don't know, I fell in love with it. I just kept playing it. I don't know why. It was just so good. It wasn't even, I don't know. It's just fun, okay? If this looks interesting, if you like turn-based, if you like strategy, if you like loot, if you like going to a bunch of different dungeons and bosses and all this kind of stuff, this game's for you. Saturday Morning RPG. Another game that's been out for quite a long time that came to the Switch, and I think needs to be picked up by a ton of people who I know are going to miss it because of the weird title. I'm just going to read the first paragraph of this game really quick to give you a feel of the style and the thing that they're going for. Saturday Morning RPG is a Japanese-style turn-based RPG set in a world heavily inspired by 1980s Saturday morning cartoons and pop culture. Players take the role of Marty Michael Hall, an average high school student who has just been granted an incredible power, a power that ultimately leads him to attract the ire of the world's most notorious villain, Commander Hood. So you can kind of see by the style, this game is full of references to 1980s and early 90s cartoons. I could see this being a TV show, and you are playing it. It has active turn-based RPG fighting mechanics. As you can see, the graphics are super interesting and really funny. This game to me is defined by character, by personality. This is one of those games where you pop in and you are just like, this world is so well crafted. Very similar to South Park, actually. How I was saying South Park has the world and the characters are such a foundational part of it. This is a love letter to the 1980s. Very similar actually also to Thimbleweed Park, which I've talked about in another video. If you played this, especially if you saw this 1980s era, or maybe if you're a 90s baby and like me and you saw a lot of that stuff as you grew up, you saw references, you saw those cartoons and everything. It's so fascinating. It's a really fun game to play, gameplay-wise, story-wise, it's really funny. But the real joy of it is all the references, all the dorkiness, the zaniness of those 1980s style era things. And you can just see from how it looks that it's got that. So if you like that style, if you like RPGs and you want to be in those reference time period era things, I think this is really great. This is one of those games I think anyone can enjoy, and especially if you're with someone that doesn't know about this kind of style, it's really fun explaining like, oh yeah, that's this, and like then you get to talk about those older TV shows, that older era stuff, and you can bring it up and reference those things. I think that's really cool. So I really enjoyed this game as a throwback to that time period, but also a fun game to play, a great RPG, and something I think, especially if you like this type of stuff, that you should play. Last but not least, we have Shantae Half-Genie Hero Ultimate Edition. The Ultimate Edition is cool, obviously, because it comes with all the DLC, and that's great. Of course, any extra content with it is super great. It is $30, so it's a bit pricey. I forgot to mention that Saturday RPG is only $10, so there's another benefit to it. So we'll throw that in there before I get too far into Shantae. Anyway, Shantae's $30, so it's a bit more up there. The cool thing about Shantae, though, is that it not only has amazing platforming and combat, the graphic style is incredible. You can see from the gameplay here. I love looking at this game. It is so beautiful. Because of the DLC and some of the things in the game, there are a bunch of different costumes with a bunch of different abilities, different attacks, different things you can do. The story is interesting enough. It is what it is, but the gameplay and the platforming and the worlds that you go in are really what makes this game. It's beautiful. Every area I explored, I was excited to see what it looked like there, excited to see the new stuff. And overall, I just think it's a gorgeous game. It was really fun to play. I jump back into it every once in a while just to go explore and play through the world because it looks amazing, guys. Look at these graphics. And you can tell a lot of love was put into this game. And I think it's worth the $30, especially if you like this style with the different types of gameplay mechanics you get with the DLC and everything. If you like platforming, if you like side-scrolling combat, and you like it to be a bit creative and a bit different with different play styles that you can play through as, I think this is a great example of that. Shantae, the Half Pirate's Curse was already on Nintendo Switch a lot earlier, I think, in the Switch's life cycle, and I think this game is a lot better than that. I really like that game too, but I think this game is like that game times 2. In a good way. You can see it here. It's a great game. I feel like I'm doing a terrible job of saying why these games are cool, but you know what? They're cool. Trust me on this one, okay? I put them up there so you can see them and you can buy them, and I hope you like them. I hope you enjoyed this top 10 eShop games. Maybe you'll pick some up because you liked them or they look interesting. Let me know if you do in the comments below which ones you pick up and what you think about them. If you like them, don't like them, or if you've played any of these games, let me know your feelings. Also, if I've left any out that you'd like me to talk about in another video, or you'd just like to talk about in the comments, leave that down in the comments below as well. Anyway guys, if you're new to the community and this is the first video of mine you are seeing, it'd be awesome if you hit the subscribe button, and whether you're new or not, hit the notification bell so you can be notified of all my future videos, and don't forget to give that like button some love. Thank you all so much for watching, and let's continue creating the greatest community in the world. I'll see all you guys in the next video.